Well, we left the bonnet 24 hours, so it's been left overnight, and you can see where we've put the rust treatment, it's turned the areas black. So what we need to do now, before we etch prime it, get some more panel wipe and just wipe the excess off. So we'll just try a little bit on here, a bit of panel wipe, and just wipe it over the top. It still feels a bit sticky, but it won't make a big difference. It's only if there's any little runs in there, like that there. We'll just give it a quick wipe over. So we'll wipe the whole panel with panel wipe, then we'll get a tack rag, tack the whole lot over, and then just etch prime. I'll probably etch prime the whole lot. You could spot prime it, but basically there's too many bits here and there, so we'll etch prime the whole lot and then take it to the next stage. Right, these are a few bits and pieces what we're going to need to put the etch primer on. So we've got our gun. It's a DeVilbiss gravity fed gun. I like the gravity fed gun better than the suction gun, especially if you're pulling heavier primers. That's just an air blow gun to blow the dust off. Pressure gauge, important. Make sure you've got the right pressure at the gun. Wash primer, or etch primer as it's known. Basically it's mixed 50-50, so it's half that to half that. In a mixing cup which is calibrated, so we'll probably put 100 ml of primer to 100 ml of activator, pour it through a fine mesh filter so we're not clogging the gun up, paint stirrer and mask. Now this isn't a full protection mask. The reason I'm not using a full protection mask today is because I've got a huge extractor there. So I'll just wear this P2 mask. When I put the paint on, I'll probably wear another respirator. Right, so we've got a fresh air supply here, which comes from the compressor room next door. And like I said, the extractor over there. Right, we've got the etch primer there. What we need to do is give it a good old stir. So what happens is the sediment settles to the bottom of the tin. And if I show you, there's the bottom of the tin. So a good 10 minutes to get this stir. You could use a stirrer on a drill, or even better an agitator like you see in the paint shops. But we've only got a paint stick, so you've got to do what you've got to do. Right, so we've stirred this now. Right, we'll give this a stir, and you can see it's changed colour from the beige to the grey. So it's a 50-50 mix. So we're going to, I'll put my glasses on, we're going to put about 100 ml in here. I'm going to have to guess because it takes a long time for it to come through the filter. I'm getting there now. I just want to show you inside the filter, in here. Can you see? There's all the little bits of, I think it's paint that hasn't been mixed properly in the primer. It's obviously a foreign body, and it would obviously make your gun splutter. Right, I'll put the activator in now. So it want to be just over 200. Drop more. There we go. That's that. I'm going to use another paint stirrer, a clean one, not the one I've had in there, just to give it a stir around before it goes in the gun. Right, okay. Before we put the paint in the gun, like I say, it's a gravity fed gun. Paint comes down here, and basically air goes in here, it atomizes in this part of the gun here. This one regulates the air, this one regulates the paint. This one also regulates the air, but we'll just leave that one wide open, and we'll regulate the air going in by this little gadget here. So primers, they're a bit heavier than top coat finishes. So I usually like to spray around about 40 with this particular gun. So it's a quick release fitting, clips on like that. That one clips on like that, and you can see straight up to 80. But when we pull the trigger, you're down to around about 32, something like that. And go about 40. So that's the 2 reasons of the free air going through the gun. A lot of people make that mistake. You know, they set the compressor to 30, and when they spray and they pull the trigger, the drop on the gun drops it down to 15, and then you'll get like a dry finish or orange peely or whatever. So we're going to start here now, put a bit of primer on. It's only primer, it's a good way to learn to spray actually primer. Very forgiving. Yeah, any rums you can flat it down, so here we go. We've got the infrared heat lamp on here, so it's heating the bonnet up. There's a little bit of dust on it, we'll blow that off with a gun. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some stone chip, because this bonnet, when it left the factory, inside these strengthening ribs, this area here, all inside, all the internal bits, would have had something like a stone chip finish. So I want to try and get somewhere near that, you know, to keep it half original. I'm not a professional painter. I just do this for a hobby. But I'm just trying to get as far back to the original as I can. So we'll take this heat lamp out of the way. Give this can a shake. I've had it warming on the radiator. Get my mask on. I'm not gonna mask any of these the other areas off. I'm just gonna let it, even if it just goes on it a little bit. When we put the primer on the top, we'll flat it down. We'll leave a textured finish in here, and obviously a smooth finish on the top. Mask on. We'll start in here just so I can show you what I mean. So we're just looking for something like that. We'll get the excess away. So basically that's all I'm looking for, a textured finish on the parts. Originally it would have been used as some sort of sound deadening, I would imagine. And I just want to make it look as close to as original as I can. Put the heat lamp on, dry it off, shoot a bit more primer over it, over these bits, flat it down, and it's ready for the colour. Right, we've the stone chips dried now. As you can see, I only put it inside the bonnet, inside these ribs, to like try and get some sort of factory finish on it, because the factory finish was a bit like stone chip. So what I'm going to do now, Scotch Brite pad, I'm going to scotch all the way around the outside, just to form a key really, just around all these ribs on the top, inside here, leave the middle, and then we're going to put some primer on, some white primer filler on here. I'm going to use an aerosol for that, because it's underneath the bonnet. Sometimes just as easy than mixing a bit of primer filler up for what it's going to take under here. If it was at the top of the bonnet, I wouldn't bother, but under here, and it's only around these ribs, I'm just going to use an aerosol. So we'll get cracking and get this scotched up. Right, so we've Scotch Brighted all the bits that are in the Etch Primer here. We've blew it off the best we can. we could tack rag it off, but really it's only underneath the bonnet. If it's the top of the bonnet or a panel, you say, I probably would. And I probably wouldn't use high build primer out of an aerosol either, but it's just as easy to use this just to mix a bit up, clean the gun, mix a bit up, clean the gun. So I put a coat of this on all over, and then we'll just take it from there. I've shook it till you can hear the little balls rattling about, and I've had it warmed up. So we'll just stick a bit on here, put my mask on. There you go. So basically that's had one coat all over. And it'll be tacking off now. As you can see, it's tacky. So I'll put another one on before it dries. Right, that's it. So I've got 3 coats of primer on there. Put the infrared heat lamp on it, speed up the drying process, and then we'll just scotch brite and flat the whole thing off, blow it off with the blow gun, panel wipe, tack rag, and it's ready for the base course paint, which is a metallic silver.